What's up, Internet? Welcome back to the Xenoblade Chronicles 2 Blade Showcase. We are back, and we are here with a bang, and what better way to do things with Crossette. Crossette is a very awesome blade, and she completely follows the tradition set with the previous blades that we've been looking at, in that she is the best of her weapon class, arguably the best bitball out of the entire group of them, and there's a bunch of reasons why this is the case. Part of it is because she has great utility with her healing, and she does some nice damage boost for the entire party. It's really fun, really well put together, and it just goes to show that the game developers know what they're doing whenever they make these blades. They always have a tendency to kind of understand what it means to make a good blade, and Crossette just embodies that. So looking over at the weapon that I've given her, I've gotten really traditional with the Eclipse of Reason, or the Tachyon chip. This is pretty standard stuff, just the most damage that I could possibly get, along with some aggro reduction for specials and driver arts. We're not really anticipating getting too much, especially considering that the person that's doing the tanking already does a good job of keeping the aggro, but it's just good to have that available. As you can see on the screen right now, the auto attack damage is 901 by virtue of having a Trust S5, so yeah, keep that in mind. In terms of the blade arts that she has available, you'll see that she has critical up and arts plus, purely based on damage. There's no utility to be had, which is a little unfortunate. It would have been nice if she had a debuff cancel, but this is the second best thing, and having a high critical rate is good news for her, especially if you want to take this character into the Bringer of Chaos difficulty. So, looking over at the Affinity chart, goodness, I missed these things. The Affinity chart has some very cool things that follow the unifying theme of festivities and fireworks. And what better way to do this than with the Pyrotechnics. Pyrotechnics increases the damage of the entire party by 300% during launches. This is really cool because if you want to play around with driver combos and launches, particularly with Poppy QT Pi in conjunction with Mithra or Pyra, you will be seeing some pretty frequent launches against most of your enemies, and if you're fighting against standard enemies, there's a good chance they're going to die instantly because the multiplier is just really easy for everyone to access. All sources of damage will increase by 300%. Next up is Gathering Sparks. This increases the damage that you deal for each HP potion you pick up to a maximum of 500. This is really nice because it does incentivize more potion gathering, I find. I was never really a big fan of potion gathering personally, but honestly, this kind of helped change my mind a little bit, and I can't wait to show you guys just how much of those multipliers can be. Next up is Alchemy Adept. This increases fusion combo effects by 60%. Of course, naturally, you are a fire element, so you're going to be seeing a lot of blade combos, but you can couple that with all the attempts that you're making of breaking and toppling and launching, even smashing if that was what you wanted to do. You're going to be seeing some really nice returns. It's just a very good bonus overall. But this is my favorite part about Crossette. My favorite part about Crossette is the special. She has some amazing specials to look at. The first one is her level 1. The level 1 is nice because it spawns the potions. Really, you can just do 2 potions, and then, then occasionally you can use her driver arts, which also drop potions. You only need to pick up 5 to get the maximum damage, but it's just a nice way just to heal your other teammates in case everyone's stunned or whatever. A very good one, and it hits multiple times in large groups. In fact, I believe that each of her specials hit for AoE. They're all very good at hitting large groups, which is why she's so useful to have in challenge mode. The second one is Go Shooting Star, and this is my favorite special of hers and probably any blade. It's funny, like level 2 specials always tend to tickle my fancy, but I feel like this one takes the cake. This is a team heal, just like with Dahlia and with Ursula and with Florin. This is a complete team heal, but it hits so many times, and that's what makes it so good. This is easily your safest option, and by virtue of being a level 2 special, you're going to be stacking 2 of them onto each other before going into a level 3, with of course the exception of Bringer of Chaos. But even in Bringer of Chaos, this is a very good special to build up for, just because it's a very reliable team heal. You're going to full heal everyone in very slow intervals too, so that's part of the reason why it's so good. It hits at least like 10 times, I'm pretty sure. It hits a very high amount, but the thing is though, even if an enemy were to be attacking you while people were being healed by this, it just keeps on going, so that means that you can reliably be at full HP at all times. And then finally, there is the Guard Annulling Attack Go Lucky Star. This is a pretty nice one too, very dynamic looking, and there is a bit of delay for both the level 1 and level 3 specials in terms of the control going back to the driver, but this just means that you have more time to collect your potions to give yourself that additional damage boost. Now, looking over at the aux cores that we're using today, level 2 special is my favorite out of all the attacks that she has, so naturally I want to kind of buff up the damage. Next up is going to be critical up. This is really weird because usually I don't recommend going crit for healers, with the exception, of course, of Fiora, but the reason why I want to boost up the critical rate is because the level 2 hits so many times, and with so many hits and with so many crits, this means that in conjunction with an Omega Drive, you can realistically be expected to fill out the entire party gauge, or at least more than half of the party gauge. Of course, not including Bringer of Chaos, but, you know, this is kind of like the regular occurrence of these things. And then finally, Fast Blade Switch. The reason why is because I want to consistently switch between her and a certain other blade, kind of just to make things a little bit easier for her job. The other blade I'm talking about is going to be Abrona. The reason why I want to have Fast Blade Switch for both these characters is because Abrona on Nia is absolutely broken, because you have a crit recharge break ability, so you will be able to initiate the driver combos and fusion combos as easily as you can. It's always nice, just as a rule of thumb, to take the control out of your AI, or your friendly AI, and that's exactly what we're trying to do here. Now, looking at the rest of the party setup, I already mentioned Abrona. I have Hiryu. He is a common blade with an HP mod of, I believe, 23%. And because Crossette is a fire element, I'm trying to replicate a previous theme that I did. We're not going to be using Dagas this time, but it's okay. We don't necessarily need that because Poppy QT Pie is very good as is. Just quickly showing you guys the builds that I've been using for a very, very long time. Pretty standard stuff. We're making her a fire element just so they can synergize quite nicely with each other. All 3 levels can be built with the exact same elements, and having a mono element kind of party is just very useful to have because you have consistent access to invincibility cooldowns through level 3 specials, level 4 specials, and of course chain attacks. So yeah, that's exactly what we have here. And then there's going to be my girl Pyra. Pyra, she is kind of a personal favorite blade of mine, and honestly any excuse I can have to use her is really, really good. But since she does come with a built-in topple, and the AI does have a tendency to switch to Mithra, which can also come into our favor, since that is going to be a crit recharge topple, so if it fails the first time, we can always try to get the second one. So yeah, that basically about does it for the party that we have. So what we're going to do is we're going to cut to the demonstration with an enhanced difficulty. Okay, so here we are. We haven't been here in a while, but this is the home of Ice Cube Man. Before I continue anything, I just want to show you the difficulty that we're doing right now. I don't want to do Bringer of Chaos for time's sake. Bringer of Chaos is an extremely fun mode, but very, very time-consuming and more than a little salt-inducing. I have been able to beat this boss with Bringer of Chaos several times with different parties, usually bringing out my best parties, but even with Crossette, I have been able to do it, but it's a very time-consuming affair. I believe it took me like 8 minutes to do, which, mind you, is shorter than like many of my attempts on normal mode back when I first started playing this game, but you know, I don't want to put you guys through that. What I'm going to be doing though is custom mode. I'm going to dial the maximum HP of the enemy to the highest that you can get. So this is going to be exactly the same amount of HP, I believe, as a Bringer of Chaos variant, to a 2.5% increase in the multiplier. So that's exactly what we're looking at over here. Starting things off with Tyrantite Kuradil. This has a lot of health, and the nice thing about Tyrantite Kuradil is that we're pretty familiar with his moves at the moment, so we can kind of focus on what Crossette is capable of. So the Dolphin Spin does drop an HP potion. What I'm going to do is just use another one with a 100% chance of dropping 2, and just like that, we have an additional 400% under our belts, provided I can pick this up quickly. While the rest of my party mates are doing things, I'm just gonna hope that Tora can do a topple. If not, then that's absolutely fine. Or sorry, not a topple, a launch. So this entire party that we have, everyone has their own version of what attacks that they can do. And the cool thing about Crossette is that she kind of reminds me a little bit of Chrysitis, in the sense that, like, if you do the level 4 special, you're going to do some insane amounts of damage on, instead of a toppled enemy, a launched enemy. So let's see if we can try to fish for that a little bit. The reason why I brought Abrona is that I kind of want to keep breaks happening as consistently as possible. So let's see if we can go for a break here. Like, the bitball does have a built-in break, true, but honestly I can't rely on that too much because it only hits one time. So the cool thing about when you have the launch is that it will stay in place, it will stay put when you do the level 4, and you are guaranteed to get cap damage because of the additional boosts of damage that the fusion combos get on this one. Very, very useful to have on a Mega Explosion. Okay, so you're pretty much just running through all your rotations over here. We're not really looking at chain attacks at the moment. Most of the time we are just going to be like spamming away with very, very powerful abilities. I've already mentioned that her best ability, in my mind, is going to be her level 2 combo, because it hits so many times, but level 3 does come in handy, again, mainly for the invincibility factor, but also quite fun to look at too. Each of the specials are very, very exciting to look at. Alright, see if we can get ourselves a launch right now. I believe that the damage also increases for the launch during a chain attack. Unfortunately, it only lasts for the first 2 drivers in the combo, but still, it is something that you can try to look forward to. Okay, so we got a Resist Doom, so what I'm going to do is just do another level 3 combo. You can essentially just do these forever, and that's what I like about having mono-element teams. Having a mono-element team means that you can consistently do these big damage specials with plenty of invincibility. Unfortunately, it's much more difficult to do this in Bringer of Chaos because your specials build up really slowly. Even with a mono team, it does seem to take a really long time before these things happen. Okay, we're gonna get hit in the face with an Ultra Annihilation Flare. I am surprisingly a-okay with this. The reason why is because we are playing healer right now, and when you play as healer, you don't have to panic. Do a level 2 special, and you'll be able to heal yourselves right back up. Kind of camp by the potions if you wish, and then focus on bringing back all your characters. We have a bunch of Omega Drives with us too, so we don't really have to worry about building up our stuff. Remember, whenever you build up your level 2 specials, not only do all those crits count with the Omega Drives, you're also going to get bonuses if you score excellence, assuming that you've increased the affinity chart. Alright, so another thing that I really enjoy about this character is her design. The design of this character, it was really funny. I remember when they first announced what this character looked like, and like a lot of people kind of noticed the similarities that she had to Cassandra. Hang on, let me just quickly get this if I can. Usually if the launch is like partway done, then you'd be able to catch them, but I believe we might have been a little bit too slow for this one. But let's see. We only had a little bit of a sliver left. Oh yeah, we still caught it anyway. Very nice. So yeah, as long as you kind of just mash it out, the specials begin really quickly. But yeah, regarding the design of this character, I really like what they tried to do. I remember people, like, they kind of thought that she was a little bit reminiscent to Cassandra, who I've been very vocal in saying that she is, like, my favorite blade in the whole wide world. You know, and that's something that's been happening. But it was really interesting, though, because, yeah, I guess it's the pointy ears and the wide eyes. But one thing that really struck me was sort of the contrast, the design contrast between these two characters. Between these two characters, one of them, Cassandra, is very much based around hexes and curses and misfortune. Misfortune is a very, like, it's a very sort of, like recurring theme for Cassandra, as evidenced by her side quest, but also there's the issue of like having the funerary embalmment because she has that mummy motif going on, which I thought was very interesting. Meanwhile, you look at a character like Crossette, she's all about the fireworks and the festivities, and usually fireworks and festivities are meant to be celebrated in order to bring about good luck, and it's a really cool contrast. I don't believe, you know, I might be reading into these things too much. I don't care, I love reading into these kinds of things anyway. Let's see if we can get a launch of the dual level 4, but that's kind of what I've seen about it, and honestly, I don't know, maybe someone can prove me wrong in the comments, I don't mind, but yeah, these are the really interesting things. Okay, so he's going to do his twin barrel autocannon. In Bringer of Chaos, the twin barrel autocannon that he does right after doing the Titan's Awakening is the most devastating thing that he could ever do to you. It's a bit of a nightmare. Not to mention that he's in Titan's Awakening right now, but the really weird thing, I don't know what it is, I'm pretty sure this is part of Bringer of Chaos, but landing a break is almost impossible. I think I've only been able to do it once in my dozens and dozens of attempts at landing breaks and other driver combos on him during Bringer of Chaos mode. But it seems that we've been having no problem here, probably because it's just normal mode, but we just beefed up his HP. So yeah, we're going over here. What we can do is also we can spam away with a Brona and then quickly build up here. I highly recommend, if you're going to use Nia, I highly recommend using a Brona just on the side, because again, building up specials can be a little bit tricky. because it just doesn't happen most of the time. Building up specials is very, very difficult to do in Bringer of Chaos, which is part of the challenge. It's a very sluggish, very slow, and painful process. Like, I can't even begin to imagine what it's like to fight against the challenge mode bosses with Bringer of Chaos, because it is just very, very time-consuming. Even with, like, I even tried to do some attempts with Crossette and this team that you guys are looking at right now against the Revenge of Cloudsea King Ken, but it just wouldn't happen. Alright, so we get ourselves another break. Again, plenty of fusion combos to go around. We can get ourselves a nice little topple, and once that topple happens, I'm just going to go ahead and mash away at the left shoulder pad into, I guess, a nuclear blast. So yeah, unfortunately, yeah, we get a nuclear blast. That's okay though, I wasn't really planning on doing some orb breaks. Naturally, you would want to bring opposite elements with Elemental Orb Ender to kind of make use of those damage boosts. But that's okay though, we're having a lot of fun playing as Crossette here. Now, I guess, you know what, I'm gonna try capping things off with a level 4 special if I can. Here we go. Do Annihilation Flare? Sure, why not? Good. I love taking damage. Very unavoidable high damage. I love it when that happens. Goodness. Yeah, but that's the nice thing about playing healer though, don't panic too much. Again, most of the advice that I'm giving you guys is not going to apply at all to Bringer of Chaos. Like, at all. It just will not apply. It's a very, very different mode. I'm looking forward to trying to make some strategies for those ones too, but at the moment, I'm a little bit stumped as to what, like, aside from, of course, using totally broken blades like Fiora and Shulk and Telos, I really can't think of very many other things that we can do about it. Alright, I'd love to finish off this fight with level 4. I'm pretty sure a level 4 on a launched character would actually be enough to kill. Here we go. Oh, we got it. See that build up? The level 4s also builds up really slowly on Bringer of Chaos. Let me just say that right now. It's a trip. It's a very fun trip. But I like it though. It's very interesting just to see how much it reminds me of a, like, kind of when I first started playing this game. I remember when I first fought against Tyrantite and Crudel with Bringer of Chaos, it really did feel like fighting against him for the very first time, and that's very valuable to me because those are the kind of experiences that you can't get a second time. But thankfully the developers have been very nice as for giving us all this new content, which I'm very, very grateful for. I guess we'll finish things off with the level 2. Why not? He's toppled, this should be a fair amount of damage. And yeah, I think once he comes down, I guess we'll just finish him off with more attacks. But yeah, Crossette's very, very good. Perfect for challenge mode. I'm more than certain that she was designed with challenge mode in mind due to the fact that all of her specials hit whole groups, and the fact that her heals are extremely reliable. She actually does feel like a healer despite the fact that she boosts damage with the rest of the team. Very good support capabilities, and honestly that's why I like her so much. Where is Crossette anyway? Well, whatever. Anyways, yeah, guys, thanks very much for watching the Crossette video. There's plenty of things that you can potentially do with this character. I tried to make more of an emphasis on things like the Bringer of Chaos mode, but then using it in a non-Bringer of Chaos setting, mainly because I was just thinking to myself that, like, having any good strategy in the hardest modes would mean that that strategy will work twice as well in a non-difficult mode. So that's exactly what I tried to do here. Again, using the Master Scope to reduce enemy break resist. Everyone else I've given Omega Drive because Omega Drive means more chances and more party gauge. Party gauge is super important now more than ever because of reviving, and honestly, having Crossette kind of helps you stay capped off so that you can kind of undo whatever mistakes or any danger that's coming your way. Anyways, guys, thanks very, very much for watching me on the Crossette showcase. I hope you guys enjoyed this blade. A very, very fun one to use, mind you. And she's every bit as fun as she looks and as her design implies. I just wish that she was here right now to hear all these nice things I'm saying about here. But anyways, until then, see you guys next time.